In this tutorial, we want to look at Blender. This is a basic introduction, lesson 1. I'm going to do about, I don't know how many, but about 5-6 of them, of the basic introduction to describe how the interface and everything looks like before we get to really doing some 3D drawings and animations. So if you don't have Blender, you can download Blender by going to blender.org, and then they have, depending on the operating system you are using, I'm using Windows, you can always download it here. The version, the current version is 2.90.1, and that is what I'm using. So I've downloaded, and now when you open Blender, this is what you are going to see. So if you see this thing, you have new file here, and we are going to work with the general one. You can either choose general, 2D, animation, sculpting. There are many different things that you can choose, but for our purposes, we are just beginners and we are beginning. You can either press this or just ignore this and just click here, and then it goes away. Now when you open Blender, this is what you are going to see. You are going to see many sections. You see this part here, this part here is known as the timeline, and this part is where you'll be doing some drawing or stuff like that, and then this is the normally called the outliner, and here you have the some properties of whatever you have here. Now this is just, it's not that this is fixed. You can always change to have this here, and rather the drawing there, the timeline here, by just going up here. If you go up here, you see when you press there, you have different views. Now here we have the 3D view, but we can always change it to and say that we want something like, we want outliner here. You notice this is the outliner here, but I will change back to the 3D view here. In the same light is the same thing here. You can come also here and change it if you don't want how it is done. You see you can have this rather here, but I would for now, let's just maintain as it is. If you come here as well, you can change this, and then here as well you can do the same change, but we leave it as it is now. In this tutorial, I would not describe everything here because the time I want to do videos that are not very long, not to bore you at a go. Okay, so the first, this is just, if you look up here, this is just similar to most programs. You have a file that you can open and do some things. Here you have the edits, we have render, we have window, we have help. Now we have, this is the, we are in the layout mode. You can go to modeling, you can do sculpting, you can do choose all these modes here. If you are in animation mode, then you'll be having this. If you are in rendering mode, but let's go, since we are new, we just stick to the layout. Now you can either even delete all of this, and if you've deleted them and you want them again, you can just come here and then choose from here again, and choose whether you want layout again coming up here or not. Now when you look here, you say, what do I see here? Do we have an object here, which is a cube? We have a camera here. How do I know that? Let's press it. You see the outliner, it tells us what we have. If we click it here, we see that we are clicking on a cube. If I click here, it tells me I'm clicking on a light. If I click here, it tells me I'm clicking on a camera. If you look up here, this is more or less, the collection is more or less like I'll call it like a folder that contains some of the objects that you have in your scene. If you see here, this is a scene, then it's a scene. You can create many scenes. If you come here, this is a scene. Let's say that we want to create another scene. You can just come here and press, let's say this is our let's name this scene 1, and then now we can come here and then we say we want a new scene. So if we create a new scene, you see that let's name this for example scene 2. You see that there is nothing here because it has created a new thing. We can always toggle through and go back to this scene 1. This is just a name I gave you. Now if I can delete a scene from here by just from what we had when we opened it, by just clicking on whatever object it is, and then you press the delete button on your keyboard to remove it. Now you will say, where did they get the cube? Did they draw it or something? They have basic primitives here which you can choose from here, and if you go to mesh, for example, you can easily get a cube. You can also, let's say, if you see this thing here is called the 3D cursor. So where this cursor is where when you add an object it will go. So in case I'm to move this here and now I want to add an object, I go to mesh, and then let's say we want to add a cone. You see that the cone will come here. In case you want to draw something, put another thing here, but always remember you have to be here to be able to move the 3D cursor. Okay, and then you can move it somewhere here. For example, let's put another object here, and then we go to add mesh, and then let's say we want to put, let's put a cylinder there. Okay, now there are other things we can do as well. This we are in the object mode. In case you see this place here, we have the object mode. You can also go to the edit mode. When you go to the edit mode, you see that you have other things here more than when we were in the object mode. We can also go to the sculpt mode. You can go to the vertex mode. We can go to the weight paint mode, and then we can go to the texture mode. For now, we just let's see just something small when we are in the edit mode. Let's assume that you are in the edit mode and you want to do something here. When you are in the edit mode, you can either edit a vertex, or you can edit an edge, or you can edit a face. So let's say we want to edit a face. So I've chosen a face. I come here and choose the face of my cylinder, and then I choose something like extrude. Then I can come here and move the cylinder up here. So that is when you are in the edit mode, you can edit things. Now we go back to our object mode. After in the object mode, let's see here, let's say that I have this cylinder here and I just want to look at the top part of the cylinder. So what I want to do is that you can either go the top part, you use if you see this thing here, you can use this to actually move around. When you touch it, you can move around, and it moves things around. But if you want to, with my object selected, which is a cylinder, if I want to see the top part of the cylinder, I can press Z, and then you see it showed us everything of the it showed us we are in the top part of our scenes. Now in case I don't want the top part, but I want to see it in the direction. One thing I forgot to tell you, when you choose the top part, you can also use the shortcut with the number pad on your keyboard. The number 7 gives the same result. Here you see that the X, if you want to see it in the X plane, you can also click the X here, or just press 3 on your number pad on your keyboard, and then that will also move it there for you. Now if in case you want to see the, for example, the let's go to the Y, that is the front part of it, I also press this and it gives you, as I said, you can pan around by just moving here. You can also use your middle, if you press the middle mouse button and you press it on, you can also move around like this. In case you want to zoom in or zoom out, you can press Control on your keyboard and press the middle mouse button to either move in or move out. Now you can also press the shift, and then when you press the shift key on your keyboard and the middle button, you can move it this way, or that way, so that doesn't go around like the other one. That will give you the possibility. As you see, if I move it with my mouse, this thing was moving as well anyway. Okay, now the next thing I would want to talk about is when we go through this a bit. First, let me go back here, and we in the select mode, there are different types. If you left click your mouse, you see there are very many options like tweak, select box, select circle, and select lasso. So you can go through. If you do something like select box, you can do something like this to select your objects. For example, if I go to select lasso, if you come, it gives you this form for you to select things. Okay, in case you want to select everything, you can press the letter A on your keyboard and it selects everything. If you don't want anything selected, you go to Alt and then press your letter A and it deselects everything. Okay, now if you want to move something, this is the what you will use. You come here and you press this one here, and then you can choose whatever you want, and then you can either move in all the coordinates axis. You can move in the Y Z axis, the X axis, and the Y axis as well. Right now, as we can see here, sometimes you see these let me go back here, so and make something like this so that you can see very well. Now you see that this is our Y plane and this is our X plane. From the colors here you see already. Now you can also put the if you want to put the Z coordinates, you can come here. I'll go through that next time, but just in case you are wondering where is the Z, you can come here and do it, or you can just it comes by default without it. So now let's say I've selected this one here. We are on the move. You can also just select something like, let's go here, just select something like selecting this, and then if you look here, there are always, we have all these short cuts that you can use. You can use G to also move something. So if you press the letter G on your keyboard, you see that what you have already selected now is can be moved. Now if I want to move it in the X direction, I have to press G, and after I press, for example, X, and then I can move it in the X direction. Okay, now let's see here. This is my I put it just here. This is the I want to put it in the origin here. It's not okay. Now the same thing, we can rotate something. So if, for example, if you want to rotate this and you had whatever you've selected, you can rotate it in the for example, the Y coordinates, that is the green, the X coordinates, or you can rotate it in the Z coordinates. You always see it here. And then you can, in the same like this also, if you look at this, the rotate is R, the move is G, meaning grab it and move it. So if you, that will help you to remember. And then for the short, you can either just press this and rotate, or you press R. Let's say I am here and I've selected this and I want to rotate it. I just press my R, and then I can rotate it. In case I want to rotate it in maybe 45 degrees, I press R and write 45 degrees and it rotates. Or I can press I want to rotate, for example, in the X direction, and then it will help me to be able to rotate as well. Okay, in the same light, we have another one here called the scale. So one thing maybe you are wondering, what is this here? This tells us what image we have selected. So if you see I select a cube, there is a cube. If I select this, and also there's a cone here, and also it shows here in the outline, and you see if I select the cylinder, it's showing in here. Now we go back to scaling. You can, as I said, you can use the shortcut S, or if you press here, you can scale in whichever direction you want. I'm scaling now in the X direction. You can scale in the Y direction. You can scale in the Z direction. So and then you can also scale by, as I said, you can just choose something, choose S for scaling, and then if I want to scale it by maybe 2, you press the number 2 and then it scales it for you. So basically this is, and then this is transform. Transform combines all these three transformations as move, rotate, and scale. You see that you can see all the, for example, if you look at scale, move, this is what we have here. This we have these arrows here that we can pull, and then when it's rotated is this. When you see this is the combination of all the three, and then you can pick any of them and use as you will, depending on what you intend doing. For example, if we were scaling, if I am rotating, and this you can use it if you want to annotate something. If you see here, it says that annotate. So if you want to, maybe I want to say something here, like something like this also, I use that. This will help me to do some measurements in case I want to measure from here to here, and you can use that. So, and also if you see here, just to talk about this and we are done, if you use perspective, if you come here, I'll go over this again. If you come here, this will switch from orthographic view to perspective view. That is why you see this here. So basically this is what I want to, and maybe you are wondering what is this I will go over next time. For now, we just see that we object properties is this box here. There are other things here that we'll be going through, but it's the default. We have the object property, and you see that it's talking about the cube, it's talking about its location, the x, y, z, and its rotation and its scaling. So it gives us the property of the object that we are dealing with. So this is what I wanted to tell you today about a blender for absolute beginners. With the next time we'll be looking at the other functionalities here, so that we get to know everything before we start doing some 3D drawing or rendering anything or animating anything. Thank you for watching. If this helped you in any way, please help me by subscribing to my channel, and please like the video and come again. Thank you. Bye.